Hi there, and this is yet another I Learned to Handstand video, and I'm afraid it's a long one because it took me so long, so I'm just going to start talking over the video from the beginning. The real story starts back in 2018 when I gave up about 16 years of rugby, weightlifting and CrossFit and started practicing Ashtanga yoga. 2 years after that, so early in 2020, I moved on to second series, which I soon discovered was heavy on backbending, which is something I wasn't terribly good at. While working pretty hard on this, I also was mountain biking, and in April of 2020 came off my bike, broke my wrist and had to go to theatre and get that sorted out. A few months later I was back doing yoga, and I decided I was really going to concentrate on the back bend. So in July of 2020 went at it quite heavily, and what I noticed, which was a bit worrying, was that I would get some tingling in my thumb and index finger of both hands, much worse on the right, after doing the back bending. It went away the next day, so I didn't mind too much, until it didn't go away the next day, and I was waking up with two numb fingers on my right hand. This was a bit worrying, and I thought I can't carry on like this, and so I investigated and self-diagnosed myself. Well, you can't self-diagnose anyone else, with shoulder mobility issues. I had far too rounded shoulders. I went on a hunt and found the Bodyweight Warrior channel of Tom Merrick's on YouTube, who had lots of advice about rounded shoulders and lots of routines. And I noticed when I was looking through them that there was a big overlap between a lot of his shoulder opening videos and just his shoulder strengthening videos and his obsession with handstands. So I thought to myself, right, if I'm going to open my shoulders, why don't I learn to handstand as well? After all, it's still lockdown and people were learning to do new things then. I found 4 roughly 20-minute long shoulder routines, which I'll link down below, and decided that as well as doing these shoulder routines, I would also do some handstands. And I decided I would do 6 sets of handstands. 3 would be chest to wall, 3 would be back to wall, and I would try and accumulate 20 seconds of balance in each set. To be perfectly honest, I was awful to begin with, and I really struggled to get more than a second or two at a time. I also had a pronounced banana shape in my back, which I think was just compensating for my lack of shoulder mobility. But, spoiler alert, I achieved the 20-second hold after about 11 months. And that's just as well, because I was feeling pretty down on myself at the 10-month mark in July. But after getting that 20 seconds, in August of this year, I managed to extend that to a 30-second personal best a couple of weeks later, which I'm yet to beat. Overall, I'm still pretty much unsatisfied with the residual banana in my back, especially when I go up back to wall. So I'm setting that, as well as a 1-minute handstand hold and a press to handstand, as this year's goals. All in all, by the time this video finishes, you'll have seen about 200 practices in about 360 days, which, if you're quick at maths, is about 4 practices every 7 days, or 4 practices a week. It's not surprising that overall I settled on this number, because the 4 shoulder routines I was doing sort of naturally linked to 4 days of doing shoulder work and handstand work, and a couple of days off, or days doing other things like my yoga. I didn't quite make it to that 365-day mark, because I'm sad to say I fell off my bike again, and this time I sprained my acromioclavicular joint. Now, it's pretty sore, but not bad enough to need any operation. In fact, I didn't even bother going to see a physio or a doctor about it. But I'm 7 weeks on from it, and it's still pretty sore, and I've probably only managed 4 or 5 handstand practices, but hopefully that'll improve with time. Huge thank you to Tom for all the great and free content on his channel, not just his routines, but his often repeated advice about building solid wide bases and being persistent and patient. And also thanks to the other YouTubers that I've discovered, partly thanks to him, partly through to searching around, like the channels Saturnal Movement, Emmett Lewis, Kit Laughlin, and more recently Fitness FAQs. So I guess I would just say, if you're learning to handstand, just keep at it. It feels great when you finally feel like you've got some control when you're upside down, and there's every chance that you'll get there quicker than me. So I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of me wobbling.